AirPods, iPads, and iMacs. Apple has flooded us with products even before its launch event. And more details about that video streaming service. There's a lot to cover on this week's Apple Core, so let's get right to it. Apple's big launch event is still a few days away, but we've already gotten a glimpse of its new product lineup. That's because the company has literally been dropping new products every single day this week. iPads on Monday, iMac refresh on Tuesday, AirPods on Wednesday, and the week's not even over. Instead of a big stage announcement with a splashy new promo video, all these products got were a press release, which, fair enough, they may not have warranted the fanfare given they were mostly refreshes to their existing lineup, but still, it made it seem a little less exciting. So what exactly did we get? Well, let's start with AirPods. Now, these popular little buds didn't get the full redesign we were expecting, so no new biometric sensors, no water resistance, no new color options or noise cancellation, but we did get some of the other upgrades we'd been hearing about, like a new H1 chip, which enables faster connect time, better battery life, up to 50% more talk time according to Apple, hands-free Siri, which would basically allow you to turn up the volume with Siri, and that wireless charging case option, which also holds more charge. The AirPods with a standard charging case, which also include that extra charge, will cost $159, the same price as before, or you'll pay $199 for the wireless charging option. And if you just want to update the case to the wireless charging one, that'll set you back $79. Sadly, no discounts on the older models, at least not on the Apple Store, although I'm sure other retailers will start offering up some deals to get rid of inventory, so stay tuned for that. Next up, new iPads, a new Mini and a new Air. Again, not a shocker considering we'd gotten plenty of clues about an imminent release. Now, neither one of these tablets got the full Cinderella treatment we saw on last year's Pros with those flat edges, barely their bezels, Face ID, and USB-C port, but at least they kept the headphone jack. Now, the iPad mini was probably in most need of a refresh after a 4-year hiatus, but it still looks pretty much the same with that 7.9-inch screen, thicker bezels, and home button, but the tech inside has gotten better, with a brighter True Tone Retina display, A12 Bionic chip, M12 coprocessor, and Apple Pencil support, although not the new one, it's just the original. The iPad Air has similar specs, but now has a 10.5-inch Retina screen, and that same A12 Bionic chip, M12 coprocessor, and Apple Pencil support. It keeps its crown as the lightest of the larger models, weighing in at 1 pound, but it is no longer the slimmest one of all. The iPad Pros robbed it of that honor last year. And while they're both significantly cheaper than the iPad Pros, you have $399 for the Mini, 64 gigs, and $499 for the Air with the same storage option, they're still both more expensive than last year's 9.7-inch model, which starts at $329 for 32 gigs, but at least now you have a total of 5 iPads to choose from as if you needed them. Apple's iMacs were also due for an update, but they still look exactly the same as the previous generations, although they did get significant performance upgrades under the hood. An 8th and 9th generation Intel Core CPUs and new AMD Radeon GPUs. The highest configuration you can get will come with a Core i9 processor and Radeon Pro Vega graphics. Now, the base price for the 21.5-inch model is still the same, but you can now spend up to $5,250 if you max out all the specs. Now, performance updates aside, Pro users are still holding out hopes for a more dramatic overhaul of the iMac line with a whole new redesign, hopefully by this time next year. Now, that pretty much leaves just one more rumored product to announce, an Air Power Mat, which, as we saw, could come as a sneaky little press release, maybe to avoid the embarrassment of having to admit on stage that they were 2 years late. Now, do you think Apple will announce it before the end of this month? Hit me up on the comments section or on Twitter with your best guesses. Oh yeah, and we still have an Apple event to focus on next Monday. But with hardware out of the way, we can definitely expect a software service-centered event to showcase its new video streaming service, which we've already been hearing a lot about. But with Disney rumored to be weeks away from launching its own streaming service, and Warner Media said to follow suit, the pressure is on for Apple to deliver. And Hollywood doesn't seem to be quite convinced that a tech company can hang with the big media moguls. A recent New York Times report suggests Apple's super secretive nature is becoming a concern with some of its content partners, as the company remains relatively quiet about distribution and promotion details. The report also mentions concerns about how Apple may try to micromanage how its products are portrayed on this platform. The company is also rumored to be in talks with companies like HBO, Starz, and Showtime to license their content in addition to providing their own original series. One player who's definitely out of the mix, Netflix. The company's CEO Reed Hastings confirmed they will not be a part of Apple's streaming service and warned that this space will get very competitive very quick. No kidding. Also, no live sports channels. In an interview with Sports Illustrated magazine, Apple's senior vice president Eddie Hu revealed they're not interested in licensing sports content, but they are interested in becoming an intermediate to curate a better sports experience for fans in the TV app. That does it for our show today, but join us live from the Apple event on Monday, March 25th, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We will give you the play-by-play of the event and everything Apple announces on CNET.com and on YouTube. I'll see you then.